Be advised, mature content ahead. This podcast is brought to you ad-free thanks to the Legion of Demons at patreon.com/NOTLP. If you like what you hear, there's much more at patreon.com/NOTLP. Join the Legion. That's patreon.com/NOTLP. And now the show.
How do you do? Just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Welcome to Night of the Living podcast. We are doing weird science. We had to do some weird science to get Kelley's Zoom working.
We did. I through the use of light photons and plant materials and electric eels and such.
Yep.
We were able to
Kelley,
make it work.
We did it.
And Kelley LeBrock too. She helped out.
Yeah, Kelley LeBrock was a huge help. She knows her fucking tech.
And she brought chips, dips, and chains and whips.
Mm-hmm.
So the subject of weird science is weird science movies. And we'll be talking about Bela Lugosi double feature of The Island of Lost Souls and The Murders in the Rue Morgue later for our main attraction.
And Kelley has reviewed them. We're done.
I'll be doing the roulette.
And that's the show, guys. Bye.
Good night.
I'll be reviewing 0.0 megahertz for Russian Roulette. And we have a new grill.
Yay.
We made some barbecue.
I thought you said new girl. I'm like, congratulations.
We have a new girl.
Is the grill a girl?
Yeah, sure.
If you've been following the saga,
it took forever to get this damn grill.
The Bob Saga?
If you've been, yes, the Bob Saga.
Yeah.
Freddy got his mother effing grill. He's finally complete and whole in his heart.
It's a big change.
You got that mother effing grill off that mother effing plane?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I transitioned to pellet grill. I'm a pellet grill guy now.
He's
pellets.
so boring, guys.
I got
He's
real
so
boring.
now.
I'm getting more boring by the day.
Amy's so jealous right now because Freddy's paying more attention to the grill than Amy.
I ordered a weed whacker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
You like whacking it?
I love whacking it, and I love weed, but I don't like weed whacking.
No. I don't like how my legs always itch when I'm doing it because I get chewed up.
Yep.
That's a bummer, huh? Although I made a good pork butt.
But what?
I'll tell you, next time I'll get a fresh one, though. If you're going to make pork butt, don't get the vacuum sealed because when you cut it open,
I never would.
it smells like fucking farts.
Teen Spirit.
No,
Yeah.
I wish it smelled like Teen Spirit.
Hey, Freddy.
Yeah.
What's a pork butt for?
For pork pooping?
For smoking?
The 3 of the 4 people who are on the show right now ate my pork butt.
Yeah.
Kelley is the 4th dentist.
I love pork butt. I would have recommended it.
I could bring some over maybe if
Just
if you want
loosely in
it.
your hand.
Just a loose handful.
Could you just
He would just toss it at
sling
you.
it at me from the sidewalk?
Yeah. Maybe
I'll get my old baseball mitt from when I was a little kid.
You know, that sounds like a game.
downstairs.
That sounds like a game on Double Dare.
Catch the pork.
Yeah.
But
pulled
the
pork.
butt throw.
The butt
Yeah.
throw.
You have to fill the pork to the red line, and then you win.
Yeah. I have to keep throwing pork to him until he gets it to the red line.
Yeah.
That sounds like we're a big brother.
So I probably have to catch it in my mouth.
Oh,
That would be
yeah.
best.
No, catcher's mitt makes more sense to me. You can get more
It
pork
makes
in
more
it.
sense. That's why you'd have to use your mouth.
Oh, good point. Good point.
But you're blindfolded the whole time, so it makes it harder.
Or you have to catch it in a blanket, and they call the game pigs in a blanket. That's the sort of stupid shit you see on Big Brother.
So the pork butt was 17 pounds. So basically, Freddy smoked a baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 babies.
That's 2 babies. That's 2
newborns.
newborn babies.
That's 2 fat, overweight babies.
Wait, how heavy are babies when they're born?
Usually 6 to 8.
6 pounds?
Oh, I thought it was like 15 or something.
Well, like
God,
like
that would be horrible.
2 or 3 month old, like an infant. Doesn't
No,
have to be
he
a
said
newborn.
when they're born.
No, I'm saying it doesn't have to be just a baby that was just born.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's saying like a 2 or 3 year old.
But they are the most tender.
What does Guapo weigh?
About 30 pounds.
About 30.
So you smoke 2 guapos.
2 guapos.
This is half a Guapo.
Half a guapo, yeah.
Holy infant is the most
And he's
tender and mild.
Destroying stereoteps.
Yeah, I don't know math or babies.
I don't know math and no babies.
This is what happens when you don't go outside anymore. Mm-hmm. This is what your life becomes, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna make burgers tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
Oh my god, this world is so thrilling, and it's like a.
Well, actually, the world is a little too thrilling.
I mean, our private world is the opposite of the world.
But
at
the
large.
private world where we are hiding from the virus remains less exciting. I hugged my mother.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I read an article. It's on the New York Times. I'll send it to anybody who wants it about how to safely hug. Now, listen, it's still not safe.
You're canceled.
I've been canceled, and I understand. Now, it's been almost 3 months, and I figured my mother deserves a hug. So we did it outside. We had masks on.
Full body condoms, like in the Naked Gun.
Right.
You turn
safety first.
your mouths in opposite like your face in opposite directions, and you get
It's
in.
like
you
an
get
ass to
out.
ass hug.
It's more like a secret handshake.
Like I turn my face to the right, you turn your face to the right, but you're blowing the different way.
So it's like a square dance move.
You get in, you get out, you got your hug in.
And then you did the dance for Perfect Strangers.
Yes. I don't remember
dance
what
of
that
joy.
was. Mm-hmm. Can you
There's
do
the
the dance?
Nepotian dance of joy.
I don't remember it though.
You don't.
Die. Hey.
Yeah,
And then
that's how it
one
sounds.
jumps in the other's arms.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Paukipatakamos.
All right. I'm here. I got it now. Yeah. And then we did that. And then we were like, wait, should have done that part.
Yeah.
We've ruined all the safety.
But we had a nice little family barbecue, socially distant. My sister.
We barbecued family.
We barbecued our families.
Yeah.
Set up the movie projector and watched a movie my sister picked out that was pretty decent on Shudder called Z.
Oh, was that good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The ending's not great, but the first and second act are pretty compelling. Good acting. It's aight.
What does Z stand for? Why is it called Z?
It's called Z because the imaginary friend is named Z, and it's kind of like Drop Dead Fred mixed with Insidious.
Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now I know not to watch it.
Yeah,
So we're doing a Monday night show. Our energy is different.
our energy is gone.
It's gone.
We're like
I actually did work today.
Yeah, me too.
It's bonkers.
Work.
Normally we record on Sundays, but I had just a horrific migraine that is trying to claw its way back right now, but I am steadfast at the gates, not allowing it in.
You're like, no, get out of here, headache.
I'm trying to talk to my migraines manager. I'm like, listen, I need to speak to your manager.
You're gonna take this migraine back. I know I don't have a receipt.
Well, it turns out your migraine is named Karen too. So what happens when two Karens go head to head?
You know, Kelley mentioned Garfield before.
No, I said Garfield.
Or Andy did. And
For a second, I was like, what?
Kelly's like, did I say that?
Well, that made me think, like, everybody crapped on Zombieland Double Tap, but I just saw it. It's way underrated. It's a really fun movie.
What's funny is on our movies, if you're a Redditor, a lot of people actually do like it pretty well in there. It gets... in Reddit, you said? Yeah.
It's great, man. It has a great nod to Shaun of the Dead in there. That is like a real blatant like love moment to give a nice pat on the back and a tip of the hat to Edgar Wright in there, and then
a bro hug between zombie movies.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just really fun.
What does Garfield have to do with it?
Oh, Bill Murray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in the Garfield jokes in the first movie. It was his one regret was maybe doing Garfield.
No,
sorry, the connective tissue there was a little weird. Maybe.
Yeah, I was just looking for a little help.
There's a great post-credit sequence with Bill Murray in the second one too.
Was the movie not well received?
Oh, people hated it.
Did they? Okay, I didn't.
Well,
I didn't
notice that.
It seemed
I didn't have any interest in it because it was like
10 years
this movie
later?
that was 10 years ago. Like, why do I care?
Well, now they're saying they just want to make one every 10 years.
Okay, so we can see Abigail Breslin grow up into a middle-aged woman.
Exactly. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I can't really complain about much of anything in it. I'd watch it again, happily give another 90 minutes of my life to it.
Yeah, I plan on watching it.
Yeah, it's on either HBO or Stars or Hulu, one of them. It's on a channel. You can watch it on a channel for free if you have that channel.
Oh, that's good. I'll look up that channel.
You should look up that channel.
Are you sure you watched it? Did you watch the original?
I just watched the original again, and I thought I was watching a new movie.
It's been so long.
When Luke Wilson and who is it? Thomas Middleditch turn up. It's very funny. It's a funny movie.
Okay. Wow. Oh wait, that's Owen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke Wilson is Sheriff Fartwell.
Chef Fartwell, yeah.
From the X-Files. And that's forever what he'll be known for. Cool. Freddie saw some stuff he liked.
God, I watch a lot of TV now. An ungodly amount of TV. Das Boot on Hulu is excellent. If you like war shows, if you like espionage and intrigue and World War II era stuff with bad Nazis and the resistance led by...
I love watching
as opposed
movies.
To good Nazis.
I like when we were like, yes, that is bad. Where things got a little muddy over the last few years. Nazis bad.
Yeah, it's fun. And Lizzie Kaplan is the leader of the French underground resistance.
Oh,
She's an American.
I love her.
She's awesome. She is so good in this. She's good in everything, though. But if you want to see Lizzie Kaplan playing a lesbian French resistance expat American who wears trench coats and smokes cigarettes and is riddled with bullet scars and is just a badass.
That's my favorite
Riddled
sentence ever.
or peppered?
She's peppered. She has a few scars.
Peppered.
She has to explain them to her lover. Yeah. It's fun.
I cashed in my free Chipotle bowl today.
No, did you?
Oh my God.
Did you cash it outside?
Yeah, I cashed it outside. How about that?
Well, you got it nowadays. They'll just throw it out at you.
You know, Chipotle is delicious, but it's even more delicious when it's free.
Yeah, anything is.
Yeah.
Anything.
It was a lot of hard work, but it felt like an accomplishment.
You did it, Andy. You did it.
Was it through points, like their loyalty thing? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you get enough points, you get a free entree.
Yeah.
We are living the motherfucking high life.
Is it time to lay down and die?
Jealous.
Have we Wall-E'd ourselves?
Well,
That's gonna be my intro to Real Housewives of Cincinnati.
Yeah. I finished a project today. I finished an animation project today with sound and animation.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm excited. You got to send it to us so we can see it.
I will after this.
And then once I watch it, I'll have Amy load me into my hovering food chair and have her push me into a giant wood chipper.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wall-E days are
well, at least it'll
here.
be the last thing you see.
Yeah. It'll be for the contributions that I'm not making. I am now consuming more than I'm providing society. I am using DoorDash multiple times a week to get food.
You are consuming more, but you are not providing the virus to other people or me.
I actually, in quantity of food wise, I'm consuming much less because I'm sedentary and I only need like 80 calories a day now for the amount of activity I'm doing.
What is movement?
I could just get a box of crackers and make it last a month right now, I think.
Okay.
What kind of crackers? Ritz's?
I would go for the vegetable Ritz.
Oh, I forgot to pick those up at the store. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but you'll get over it. You'll get over it.
What is Freddie going to subsist on now?
Air. I mean,
leftover pork butt.
Pork butt.
Just bury my face between those pork cheeks.
Seriously, I just feel like an insane person lately. Just for days, I don't sleep. This migraine I'm angry. I'm guilty. I'm sad. I'm all these things. Listener, if you are those things too, well, here we are. Sit on the bench with me.
That was my week too. It was the first half I felt better. The second half, but Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday I was just dark.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
It's dark times right now. People are trash.
And I want it to be clear that I don't think that my sadness means anything in the grand scheme of things. But we're a group of friends, and I'm just telling you.
You're allowed to feel what you feel.
You can tell what you feel.
Don't feel guilty about your feelings.
Too late, bitch. But we're all going to be just fine because I discovered that Alec Baldwin is hosting the Match Game all summer on ABC.
Oh, is that going to continue?
Yeah.
Oh,
I love the Match Game.
It's fun. Did you watch it last night?
No, I haven't seen the new match. I mean, the Match Game PM from the 70s.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
So I haven't seen the new Match Game, but I love the Match Game.
It was really fun.
It was really fun.
They got Vivica Fox.
James Vanderbeek. He's a national treasure.
Mm-hmm. Sam Richardson from Veep. He's fucking amazing.
He was just on Conan, too.
See again on Veep.
He was her second assistant, and then he became a governor.
Oh, or a mayor. The black guy.
He was a mayor, yeah. He's so funny. Have you seen Detroiters?
No, Freddy, I haven't watched as much as you.
Detroiters is great. It's Sam Richardson and what's his name from that show? Maybe
Tim
you should
Robinson.
Leave. Tim Robinson, yeah. They run an ad agency in Detroit.
Oh, is that the guy that had that show on Netflix?
Yeah.
I think you should leave.
Need to leave. Yeah.
Yes. The two of them together, it's insanely funny. It's probably one of the funniest shows ever. Detroiters. It's on Comedy Central. Kelley, you would love this show.
I believe that I would probably, and eventually I may get around to it, but I watch almost no TV.
Except for Degrassi.
You should scrape everything aside, just knock everything into the floor.
Scrape it.
And watch Detroiters, because once you start it, you're going to want to just watch the whole series, and you'll be done before you know it, because they're short episodes.
Well, that's how I feel about Degrassi, although even that, I mean, considering like that's what I mainly watch, I don't even watch that much of that, maybe an episode or two a day, not even every day, just some days.
When I say I watch stuff, it's probably not fair to the stuff I'm watching, because really what I'm doing is I'm working and it's on in the background.
Yeah.
So if I'm really like, I can't watch Das Boot that way because there's a lot of subtitles on that show because they keep switching up perspectives between the different nationalities. So that I can't watch during the day, but the stuff that is good, you know, that there's that balance between, you know, stuff you can just kind of have on that is just background noise, but it's also engaging in a weird way.
Oh yeah,
no, I do get that. I do that with music though. I can't really do that with shows too much. If I can't watch it, I can't watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I put on music while I'm working all the time, and I get what you mean. It's not exactly background noise, but it's not exactly not background noise.
It's front ground noise.
Yeah.
I'm burning through a bunch of the latest season of Real Housewives of New York. Let me tell you. I love the new housewife. She's great.
I thought you got to the end of everything already, but I guess the housewives are still housewifing.
It's always happening.
Andy, it's like the future. At the end of everything, it just starts over again.
Back over.
Yeah, it's a perpetual motion engine.
Yeah,
it's like a Twilight Zone episode or something.
Yeah.
What was great, and this is sort of apropos of the world right now, but there's this episode and they're at Ramona's Hampton's house and they're all blitzed out of their fucking minds, these housewives.
Ramona Beasley?
Yes. No. Ramona Singer. And they're like naked in the pool, a few of them. And then the new housewife, Lee, she looks at the tiki torches and she goes, I fucking hate these tiki torches. Fuck tiki torches. And she throws them. And then Tinsley, she's like, why do you hate tiki torches? And she's like, bitch, you need to watch the news. It just made me laugh. Anyway.
That's a appropriate reaction.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah.
When you're super duper drunk. And then somebody put a vibrator in the chicken.
Yeah. So when they got in the pool, did the pool turn like tan and thick?
No.
From all the makeup they wore.
He looked like a big bowl of Tang.
Know what I'm saying?
It's like swimming through oatmeal or something.
Well, technically, it was a big bowl of Tang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was intimating there. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you got it first. Nice.
Yes.
You were like, you're just a little bit more. You went classier and subtler.
And I went.
Sutler.
I was talking about
Sutler.
the astronaut beverage,
Yeah.
and you guys were talking
I went
about
blue.
Poontang.
Patreon.com/NOTLP.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff there.
Right now, you've got
Eyes on TV.
Eyes on TV.
The Last Airbender. That's Fozzie's most recent. You just recorded.
Upcoming. I don't know when. Don't
Yeah.
quote me on this, but and assuming he still has the file, didn't lose it. We talked about Community, Fozzie and I.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming out.
Night of the Comic, and that's now a video show in addition to the audio, whichever you prefer. But the video is fun because we can share artwork that we're talking about, which is a big part of comics. So all kinds of other stuff. I mean, we're constantly putting things on there, and we have our meetups every Thursday night, which are a blast. Mm-hmm. And we get to reconnect with everybody. It's kind of like a little mini convention. A lot of fun.
So thank you so much for your support.
Absolutely.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Are we doing a show? Are we recording
It's
tonight?
Monday energy, man.
It's a low energy night.
This is Monday energy, man.
Trump would be all over us. He'd be like, the low energy night of the living podcast, people.
Oh, Sleepy Freddy. Sleepy Amy.
Hashtag
sleepy.
bunker, baby.
All right.
Fuck yourself, motherfucker. How dare you even exist?
Maybe he'll set himself on fire like Hitler.
There's your energy right there.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Seething hate.
We'll be right back.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for Straight-to-Video Russian Roulette.
준비물은 똑같은 인형 2개. 이 인형은 일종의 미끼야. 귀신을 자극한다. 이제 귀신을 불러내기 위한 모든 준비는 끝났어. 피날레만 남은 거지. 혹시 아냐? 0.0 메가헤르츠를 직접 보게 될지. 0.0 메가헤르츠?
귀신을 부르는 주파수인 거지. 왔어.
안 좋아.
야, 성아 씨! 그거야. 그 머리카락 귀신.
인형 나왔냐고!
한번 달라붙은 귀신을 끝까지 물어뜯는 법이라.
I'm bringing us back up so we can talk a little bit about this trailer.
That's in another language.
Since it's in Korean, 0.0 Megahertz was my roulette movie. You guys just saw the trailer.
It looks spooky.
Yeah, if nothing else, it had good it had good title design in its trailer, so you could say that at least. I like the title's design.
Yeah, the first 2 acts of this movie are really solid. You have this this club at this university, which if I remember right, I think they're even called the 0.0 Megahertz Club. They're a paranormal investigation group. And there is a very serious guy. There is a goofy, funny guy. There is a young guy who has a crush on one of the girls who's also in the club.
So archetypes.
Yep, archetypes. There's the hot blonde girl, and then there is the kind of quiet, mousy girl. And the 5 of them are taking this trip. They take vacation to go to this little village where there's this story about this ghost that had possessed one of the villagers and made her commit suicide by hanging herself. And she hung there until she rotted and her body fell away from her head. And it was kind of that's what I'm saying about the setup being really creepy and spooky. They get there and it has a lot of Korean shamanism stuff in it. So the cold open of the movie is about that. And they hint at this kind of mousy character that she is a shaman because she's seeing ghosts everywhere. She's Haley Joel Osmenting. And so they set up the whole idea is they'll do this ritual to draw out the spirit. And they've brought the fun party blonde girl archetype character with them. She's the one whose brainwaves they're going to monitor while she's in the middle of the room. And
just a couple of wavy lines.
You didn't say anything about electric shocks.
We're paying you, aren't you?
So they do the ceremony and the shit hits the fan as it usually does in these situations. It has some great atmosphere. It's spooky. The performances are good. And then
shit.
Yeah. And then it takes a turn about between Act 2 and 3 where it just becomes your typical hair ghost possession movie. They even said hair ghost in the trailer.
Hair ghost is my favorite. I was gonna make a hair metal joke, and then I'm my brain is so disconnected, and I couldn't even do it. Just know that the seed of it was there, and it would have been great.
Monday strikes again.
Based on the quality of the first 2 acts of the movie and the overall just solid spooky vibe through most of it, I still recommend it, even though I felt the ending was disappointing. 0.0 Megahertz. This is one of those movies that Shudder bought as a Shudder exclusive. So was Z, that movie I mentioned earlier that we watched last.
So is our movie coming up next week.
Yep. So Shudder's been doing some pretty good stuff. I wanted more out of this, but it was still pretty darn good. Had it come out in the 90s, I would have loved it. But that has been retread of one too many times. It's
been watered down a little bit.
Yeah, it's lost its punch.
Too much ice in the glass.
Remember the first time you saw Ringu?
Too much hair in the toilet bowl.
Right. There's too much hair.
What's
in the
hair
toilet
doing
bowl.
in the toilet bowl?
The ghost.
That's where the ghost comes out.
Yeah, or the ghoulie. The ghoulie
where the
comes
ghoulie
out.
and the ghosty come out.
When it goes to college, it comes out of your toilet. That's a college ghoulie.
Well, all right. So you're like a lukewarm recommend.
Lukewarm recommend.
That's okay.
If you are really hardcore into Korean water ghosts, hair ghosts, if that's your thing, this is a definite must see for those people.
You're right.
I just love the idea that there's somebody for whom this is a must see because they're a Korean hair ghost fanatic.
They have like, it's almost like become a subgenre.
No, it's just a must see. It's
a must see for Korean hair ghost fanatics. You can put that on your box.
I'm sure they're on Reddit somewhere.
Yeah. Do you remember the episode of SNL where Kristen Wiig?
Oh yeah.
Where they said it was like my stepmom is a Korean water ghost.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Anywho.
Anywhoosies. We're gonna see who's gonna crank the box.
Mm-hmm.
See who's reviewing for next week. Okay. We're gonna start with Kel or DJ Dr. Moreau in the Howls of Pain. Oh man!
Right out the gate, Kelley.
Right out the gate. Kelley got the boing boing boings.
I sure do. But what's the movie?
It's another Shudder exclusive. It's called Confessional. After 2 mysterious deaths on a I felt like I lisped that a lot. After 2 mysterious deaths on a college campus, 7 students are lured to a confessional booth to talk about everything they feel, everything they know, everything they did.
And they're dead. They're dead the whole time.
That's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's only an hour and 24 minutes. So.
Well, that's good. Normally, I've been enjoying all these Shudder exclusives and a lot of these Rush Roulette movies, but I'm not saying it won't be good. But that is usually a synopsis where I'm like, not for me.
I like college campus movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think the new name of the segment is going to be called Shudder Exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I like to support them because I think they're a good company.
Blood Quantum was good, Kelley. I watched Blood Quantum.
Oh, yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. It was very good. I recommend as well. I can second your recommendation.
It's badass.
We'll call it a secondation.
A secondation.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right. The Confessional.
Kelley has homework.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll move on to our main attraction then.
Well, shit, I guess so.
I guess we will. We have a double feature coming up. So buckle up.
thing on this table isn't human.
Its cries are human.
Do you know what it is, what I began with?
No.
An animal. Well, we may as well discuss this frankly, now that you know the facts. I wanted to prove how completely she was a woman.
I'm not beaten. Get everything ready.
For what?
This time I'll burn out all the animal in her. I'll make her completely human.
No.
How about that?
The Panther Woman. Kelley, you're muted still. And then Freddie played the music.
What?
This is such an incredibly modern movie. I fucking loved this.
Well, I'm happy. Both of our films came out in 1932. This is was it called the Hays Code, right, back then, where you either passed or failed instead of getting a rating?
I'm not sure if that had come around yet. This is because this was during the time of like Cat People from Val Lewis. There's a lot of like steamy stuff at this time.
Well, prior to, I know they eventually had to put an X rating on this, but and then of course it was a PG when it was re-released after we had the MPAA because of the disturbing nature of the film and the original.
It's pretty graphic.
Yeah, the original poster was very sexualized. It was the Panther Woman lured men only to destroy them body and soul, as if that was what the movie were about. Yeah, so this is the Island of Dr. Moreau, as interpreted by Earl Kenton, who was a director that worked, with the old studios back in the day, did The Ghost of Frankenstein, House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, all those late Universal monster movies that kind of were the harbingers of the end of Universal monsters.
Yeah.
But he made this prior to all that, with Charles Lawton playing Dr. Moreau and Bela Lugosi in a small part in the movie because he was bankrupt. And
he just played Dracula the year before.
Yeah, he had a problem. I guess, I don't know if he had already developed his problem with substance abuse.
Yeah, he's pretty old. I mean, not pretty old. He was older by that time, so I guess, yeah.
Yeah, my understanding is he took this role for the paycheck, and that he was the lowest paid of all of the. I think he made $800, maybe something like that.
Damn.
For his part in this, he was the lowest paid name in the movie.
That still seems like a lot for back then. Maybe.
No. No.
Not for somebody of his caliber, but maybe.
Well, I mean, for such a small part, I don't know what the conversion rate is, but.
To Lugosi bucks?
To Lugosi.
You can only spend on Dracula stuff.
It's like 50 Lugosi bucks to a Karloff buck. But that's not really fair. That's not a fair exchange rate. That's just how it is.
All right. Adjusted for inflation, $800 in 1932 is equal to $14,080.77 in 2020.
I guess that's not so bad considering he had to be in 3 scenes in this movie.
He had to have shit glued to his face.
He did have to have shit glued to his face.
This was a real, okay. Everybody knows the story Island of Dr. Moreau. He's the guy that tries to combine animals and people and create a new race or something, right?
Yeah, but they kind of flip it on its head in this where he accelerates evolution within a species.
Right. So it's a little bit different. Our friend Edward Parker, he was on a boat and it sunk. And he gets picked up by another boat, captained by a real son of a bitch that looks like a fat Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
I have to say, he had a rough couple of days.
Really bad.
Yeah.
What? I feel so bad. I feel so bad for this dude. He got shipwrecked. He got picked up by another boat. He got punched by the captain and thrown off.
Just tossed off.
And that's just brutal. That's all before
he
gets on the island with the animal people and the crazy mad scientist.
It was almost like a comedy of errors. Like, what next?
Yeah. I love when he gets to the island of Dr. Moreau and he meets Charles Laughton, who is playing like a gay Colonel Sanders. Is the only way I can describe his performance.
Gayer.
He's so awesome in this, by the way. His eyes are so creepy. Fucking knocked it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, I like how he didn't overplay it. He played crazy, but like it was restrained. It wasn't over the top.
Well, you kind of get where he's coming from. He does a good job of explaining his motives. He's a scientist. You buy into. He's had success accelerating the evolution of these plants, and he shows them the giant asparagus.
Did you see the size of that thing?
That's my favorite part. Like, look, giant asparagus, and he was so proud. He was so proud of it.
He should be. He was ahead of his time, thinking about food insecurity in the future.
Yeah.
If we all could just nibble on an asparagus for 3 years,
yeah.
One asparagus.
Then he gave up on that because he wanted to fuck cat women.
Well, yeah.
Well, it just reminded me like an old grandpa, like so proud of his crop that year. It was adorable.
So when he makes the Panther Woman, this is, I guess, the crown jewel of his collection, is the way I understand it. She's the most evolved of all of the creatures he's created.
But they really want to get her to be more like a woman.
And they also want her to reproduce.
You know what I mean?
So this, Charles does, I'm saying the actor's name. Dr. Moreau is like, I'm not fucking the Panther Woman. I'm not into that. That's not my scene. But this guy just crash landed here, and I'm pretty sure it's like a panda situation where if we put them in there together,
play some pornography,
and he doesn't know she's a Panther Woman.
Right? He thinks she is just
a woman,
a Polynesian person.
Yeah, he does say Polynesian, and I'm like, that is a straight up white lady. What are you trying to pull?
I said the same thing.
Yeah, Kathy.
Polynesia, Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
She was born in Indiana.
Woohoo!
Well, he was not too far from actually trying to procreate with this chick.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I can't do it," and then his resolve melts pretty quickly, and he starts making out with her.
You ever have a Panther Woman rub up against you?
Well, let me tell you something. The breath of what a cat person would smell like is enough that I know I'd resist, because I don't want that like cat food smelling mouth anywhere near me.
I think it's really interesting the way they play this, because I feel like, first of all, the woman who played the Panther Woman, Loda, was amazing. Like, she pulled off like cat in a human body, like 100%. The way she like looked at people and kind of moved and acted. And I think some of what was supposed to be happening was like, before he realized what she was. What I love about this version of this is that the animal people, I mean, some of them are, and some of the makeup effects later kind of come out, but what's so creepy about it for me was that instead of like animal people, over the top monsters, you really got the sense that these were like animals in human beings' bodies trying to like live with some human emotions and stuff, but it just made it so much more horrifying, like that it's just this thing inside them that doesn't understand what's actually happening. And I feel like that weird semi-seduction was almost like the way you react to an animal who's loving on you, and like, but he doesn't realize that's what she is. And then afterward, but like, there's something weird, even when he kisses her, I mean, he feels guilty, but I feel like he sort of gets that something's off. And I think there's kind of a subtle idea that this was almost just like an animal person connection, mistaken for like sexual attraction. There's a lot. The script for this was so tight. The pacing was so good. So many modern action sci-fi movies still use a lot of stuff that they used in this. I was really pleasantly surprised. Yeah, especially because I watched the other one first.
You watched The Murders in the Rue Morgue prior to this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I started this immediately after that. Didn't end up finishing it until today. I didn't even think they were from the same year. At first, I was like, this can't be from 1932. Like, the film grain looks like it is, but the storytelling is way more modern than that other one.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just a really funky story in general. Yeah. And Charles Laughton's performance, I think, is kind of what elevates this one. It's unforgettable. His version of Dr. Moreau it's like an indelible character that I will always remember what he looks like, his mannerisms. Like, he just knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah.
And just the dandy kind of way he dressed and carried himself was just really, it was just a really great performance.
Oh, it was. Yeah. And he really, again, it's sort of a thing we get later on, especially in like Bond supervillains and stuff. I feel like take from that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, and there's so many great little spooky touches. And again, like where he's explaining about leaving England, and he talks about it was because one of the things he was like, a dog that he was working on got out, and just people, he doesn't tell you what it looked like, but people seeing it and finding out about it was what got him driven out of England. And it's just like such a great spooky little touch. There's so many of those. And then the idea of what's going on in the House of Pain, which again, actually for 1932, I mean, they didn't show it like graphically, but you knew what was, I mean, they described it. And
you can just tell by the reactions of the animal people how terrifying it was, because as soon as he mentioned it, that they would, cower at it. The even mention of the House of Pain.
Oh yeah, and the screaming was really, really disturbing. It was. Oh
yeah. Well, he sounded
really
like
well done,
human. Again, that was like the first thing when he got to the island. Was like the human screams. He's like, "Why are you cutting that man up?" He's like, "He's not a man. He's a beast." But the House of Pain thing, I just wanted to mention that this is where the rap group got the name. Was from this movie. I never knew that.
Jump around.
So I learned that today. Something else I was kind of wondering while I was watching this, because Bela Lugosi's character is we assume evolved from either some kind of ape or dog. I'm not sure which. It's hard to tell. But his the name of the character is the Sayer of the Law, and I just wondered how much of an influence this had on Planet of the Apes, because they had the lawgiver character and this whole concept of this character at the center of this new human-like society, that they're the one who are really the glue that's holding it together and making it have any kind of structure at all.
Right, because he bought into it.
Right. Also, you wonder, like, maybe he's one of the early successes that Moreau had, and that he indoctrinated him.
Exactly. And maybe also one of the more, because I mean, he seems to be one of the more like higher intelligent ones of the group, but again, like sort of in that beholden idea to the doctor. Well, for a while anyway.
How great was it when one of the I guess 8 men or whatever was trying to climb in the window to get to Edward's girlfriend when she comes to the island?
Oh yeah.
And when he shows up, he just looks up like, "Oh!" It takes off. It was just a kind of funny moment, but also
the body language
was
very creepy of the creations, but also very comical in places.
Yeah, cartoony a little bit, because
they're like these kind of, for lack of a better word, dumb-looking dudes.
Yeah,
and they just kind of lumber around.
This is what it really reminds me a little bit of Kong Skull Island. This is where I feel like some of things are still pulling from this. Like the captain that brings Edward's girlfriend to rescue him has a very, like, that is a character we still see, kind of like the boozy older. He's older and kind of funny, but like maybe he's going to be sort of heroic. And I love that dude when he came in.
Me too.
I hated that he died.
I would say he and his performance and Charles Laughton's performance are the two in this movie that really stood out.
Yeah.
And partly because, like you're saying, he was just the Good Time Charlie kind of character.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, this guy's the audience, or whatever.
Right.
He's like, yeah, maybe I'm a little drunk, maybe I'm not. Who knows? And it was just fun.
It's my favorite performance. I think Kelley might agree. It was like the Loda character.
Oh, she was awesome.
Just because her eyes were just so expressive, and she seems like a holdover from the silent film era.
She reminded me of a Star Trek character.
Yeah, back when they had faces.
When they had faces.
Yeah, watching her.
Well, just her body language, the way she ran.
Yeah.
It and walked. It seemed so human, but inhuman at the same time.
That's
why I felt like it was like a silent film actress.
She just was doing it was all in her body and face. And like I said, watching when I even, obviously since I know the story, I know what she is. And like watching her try to portray like a cat in a person's, like she really, not to make her sound like, Maureen Ponderosa, but like she really embodied, I mean, she really like nailed it. And like just the way she would like cock her head and look at people.
But she was still kind of very alluring and sexy at the same time. Like you think a cat person would be, because they're so slinky.
And then when she started licking her butt, man, it was like sign.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
If she coughed up the hairball, it was disgusting.
Yeah. So
that was my least favorite part.
Kathleen Burke is her name. And according to the trivia on IMDb, she was working as a dental assistant in Chicago when she submitted her photograph for a contest Paramount Pictures held for a role in Island of Lost Souls. She beat out thousands of other contestants and launched her brief film career.
You know what's funny about that is Charles Lawton based his performance on his dentist.
Get out of town!
And she was a dental assistant.
Get right out of town.
Get the fuck out.
Anyway.
Bye.
See you guys.
So this, we didn't say in the beginning, but that was based on the story by H.G. Wells, which was more of like philosophical, what if, what's right or wrong about doing these sort of things. And this movie, they kind of flipped around to make it more of a monster movie and had this peril element to it. But but it makes it more entertaining.
Well, yeah, I think I've never read the original story.
Well, I think the moral questions still come up too. I think there's it's definitely more of an action movie. Than it was maybe intended, but I still think those themes are still in there. Is pretty. I mean, that's part of what was so disturbing, was just the idea of what humanity is and what isn't, and what animal life is, with the value of animal life as well. Like when he said he's cutting that person or whatever it is open, he says, "Oh, it's not a human," but it's like, well, would you do that to an animal? Like it's
right.
There's a lot of stuff in there still.
The scene on the boat when he mixes it up with the captain. There's all these animals in cages, and then these dogs tied up on the deck of the ship. And I was like, this is before the Humane Society was on film sets. And then my brain starts turning and going, oh God, what did they do to these animals?
Oh,
they just leave them out in
the thought is. They were all like
sun
great,
all day.
Looked like they were all Great Danes too.
I honestly and earnestly care more about animals' lives most times than people's.
We know.
But that's because, just
they're innocent.
Do you think H.G. Wells would be an anti-vaxxer?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering.
It's a pretty forward-thinking person.
Yeah.
He would be a flat earther, though.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he would have to explain why he wrote Around the World in 80 Days, Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
Well, it'd be across the
That was Jules Verne.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Jules Verne. Oh, shit. Whoops. H.G. Wells was the time machine, though.
He was a time machine. He traveled in time. He knew about gravity.
So maybe he would have been a flat
there
earther.
goes gravity.
All right. We're moving
Mom
on
spaghetti.
to our second double juicy double.
Dr. Miracle in the Rue Morgue is guilty of 4 murders so far this week, and by now perhaps a 5th.
Very crackly.
Oof.
Yeah, it was crackly.
Oof.
Oof. I like this movie.
I did like it too. I was surprised
This
when you
movie
guys...
was not my jam.
I liked it in a campy sort of way.
Yeah.
But not in a good movie sort of way.
Well,
in a good movie sort of way.
It bored the hell out of me, and it just. We just say yours first. We'll get around to why I didn't like it.
Well, I was going to say,
yes, I was also confused.
It's been forever many years since I've read the story.
Right.
But this is not at all
right. Well, the story, right? The story just starts with the murder.
The locked room.
And Dupin, is that his name? I can't remember.
Dupin, whatever he pronounces. He's like the Sherlock Holmes sort of.
Yeah, he's like Poe's version.
Yeah, he's like the first iteration of that in
Oh, did he write? He wrote that
Western
before
literature. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So I remember the story, if I remember, was like he comes in and he just finds there's a body in a locked room.
It's a locked room mystery.
And they're like, how did this happen?
Turns out it was an ape.
And it turns out, an ape had climbed up the trellis, come in and killed. And then, and I forget, there was some way that they had locked the window again or something.
I don't remember.
And that was basically it. I don't think there was much to it.
They went real stupid for this.
Yeah.
with retelling it.
This is, I felt like this was like 1932's version of like one of those cheapo horror movies that get released just to get one weekend's gross, from all the teenagers showing up. Like they're like, nobody's going to see it the second weekend. We just got to make our $9 million back.
It's funny you should say that because this is the movie that like harkened the end of Bela Lugosi's career, his mainstream career, because it did so poorly. And also he was given this to kind of quiet him down for losing Frankenstein to Boris Karloff.
Oh, yeah.
So they gave him, and because Robert Florey, who directed this, was supposed to direct Frankenstein before they gave the job to James Whale. And James Whale? And
you got it.
Singular, right? I don't know what's wrong with my brain. It's late. But anyways, Robert Florey was supposed to get that job with Lugosi playing the monster. And then they were like, oh, sorry, but we'll give you Murders in the Rue Morgue instead. And we won't know what the difference between a chimpanzee and a gorilla is. And we're going to use a mannequin.
There's a lot of different things that thing is.
Yeah.
There's zero consistency. That's why I was like, these movies were made the same year. And but of course they were. I forgot all about Freaks and there are plenty of movies that were very modern, again, cat people. But after coming directly out of this, because I was like, oh yeah, all these movies are super stagey. That for me was the biggest thing, and that's not necessarily a bad thing or an overall objective criticism about movies. I don't like these sort of old timey stagey movies that are kind of like goofy, and it was too goofy for me, and it was disjointed. I didn't really know. I mean, I know the story, but it wasn't the story like we said. So I was like,
they padded the hell out of it. When they wrote the screenplay, they added in this whole element of Dr. Miracle being, which is hilarious because I'm like, just say miracle.
And nobody can place his accent. And
he comes to Paris with a
bunch of accents
from New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the joke too. Was I think a xenophobia kind of joke in 3 parts later, when the inspector comes to after the murder. But Dr. Miracle comes to Paris with his ape. And
Eric
the ape.
Hey guys, it's me, Eric.
And he invites.
Can I have your bananas?
He's there with like a carnival, and but he becomes, I guess, this is the weird part, right? He wants to take ape blood and inject it into people.
Does he ever say like why?
No, I never understood why.
He's just like, I can.
This is like one of those people that thinks they know about science, and they're like, I got an idea for an experiment. They don't.
I think he was trying to say that if you inject the blood into a certain woman, that she is able to breed with this monkey man.
He's not a monkey man. He's just in close-ups, he's a chimp.
I know.
In wide angles, he's a man in a gorilla suit.
But
whoa, what was that?
Was he billed as an ape? Or was he like kind of like missing link type?
No,
thing?
they billed him as like a Sasquatch kind of thing, like the human ape.
But didn't they call him a gorilla most?
But they did that later on too. They did absolutely call him a gorilla.
Yeah, because
very confusing.
He's a medical student, and he's been investigating these women that keep turning up dead in the river with these weird marks. And he gets their blood, and he's trying to figure out what's in their blood by looking at his drawings compared to other drawings. And I'm like, oh my God, this was like how we did science.
Now, I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe this was a Hays Code thing where initially the idea was he wants to get this ape to fuck that woman. And then they're like, nah, you can't do that or imply that or insinuate that on any level. Because we let them do that sort of in Island of Lost Souls. We can only do that one time.
Just the one time.
We get one.
And that's a better movie. So you guys don't get to do that. He has to just say he just puts their blood in there. Yeah, that's right. Right, guys? That works.
But that was what he wanted Eric to mate with the woman, right?
Yeah, but I think I just that's just a theory that I like, that maybe they wanted to make it more explicit.
I'm looking.
What was happening.
Okay, I guess we were talking about. We've brought up the Hays Code a couple of times. I guess the Hays Code started a couple years after these movies were released, but these are some of the movies that were the reason why they created.
These are the Gremlins and the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Dooms.
Yeah, these are the Gremlins. So that's kind of interesting, but yeah, this movie is just really, really silly in so many ways.
It felt like a teenager directed it.
Yeah.
You know, like you get those video cameras when you're a kid and you make a movie with your friends.
I don't know about that. I mean, there was a couple of ambitious moments in this, like when he followed the swing set.
Oh yeah, there's some great shots.
There were some. It wasn't the sum of its parts, but it just felt.
Oh,
so,
you
like
mean
they were making it up on
structurally? I gotcha. They were just making things happen.
Yeah, it just sounded like they were making it up as they were going along.
Yeah,
I get that feeling.
It was. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Well, yeah, like in the beginning, after they've been at the carnival and the ape steals her bonnet.
So the bonnet, yes. I want you to go all the way through the bonnet, Amy. Go through the whole bonnet story.
And then, then she gets a bonnet, a replacement bonnet, and Dr. Miracle's like, "Here's your replacement bonnet."
And she calls her mom up like, "Mom, get the fuck in here! You're never gonna believe what the fuck just happened." She's like, "What is it, dear?"
It's like 1835. That was the most exciting thing in their lives.
Now, doesn't it also seem like when he's telling her about the ape and her bonnet, doesn't it seem like he's almost trying to convince her, like, you should just let the ape fuck you? Yeah. He's like, Eric likes you so much. He's thinking nonstop about it. Like, she's going to be like, oh, maybe.
He's like, my friend Eric the gorilla won't stop talking about you.
Exactly.
He'd really like to see you again, so come hang out with me. And she's like, shit, yeah, I got a bonnet. And then she tells her boyfriend, Dupin, and he's like, no. And then he goes down there to intimidate him. But what I was going to talk about is like this idea that all of a sudden in the world of this movie, you as the audience member go from the carnival where it's like, what? And then he's creeping around town looking for a victim, but you don't know that. You just see two guys dueling.
Yeah.
And a woman screaming and dueling, screaming. And then he kidnaps her, and then he gets mad at her that she died.
I love the part he overhears after he goes to try to press Dr. Miracle.
It's just silly every time you say it.
Miracle Whip. The detective goes, Dupin.
He's a medical student.
Medical student, whatever you want to call him. Whatever his title is, I don't know. I don't know medical students. But he conveniently overhears the other people from the carnival going, yeah, he's staying and the gorilla is staying. We're going to Munich. But no, the doctor insists on staying. And the gorilla's staying. They're both staying.
It's a stroke of good luck.
Yeah, and he pieces together, he stayed because of his nefarious thing. But Dupin hears all that stuff, and he ends up being like, my milkshake. And he runs, and he goes back to
Camille's
house.
No, we don't do that anymore.
Chocolate cake. And my chocolate. He had begged her to lock bolt her door that night. Of course, she answers the door for. It's Bela Lugosi outside. You answer your door.
Is it you? Blah blah, Pierre. He's like, yeah.
He's like, why don't you come out with me? And she's like, no. And he's like, I'll take you down there. Why don't you come? Hey. And she's like, no, leave. And he's like, come on.
And I felt like that was half the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I did one thing I'll give it. It's not even the movies. It's nothing the movie did right. It's just there was sort of this moment where like Dupin and her or whoever when Dr. Miracle
every time
we should start calling the other guy Duppin and Miracle.
Duppin and Miracle. Attorneys at law. They actually, when he's like, oh, I'll get you a new bonnet, give me your address. He does that online pedophile thing.
Yeah.
And they are rightfully suspicious. But like, I would have thought that people back then would have been like, oh, sure, here's all my info. Well, and we act like that's a new thing that we just learned because of the internet. But it seems like even in that time, people were suspicious of folks asking for your address.
Well, I feel like it seems like we're talking about the bonnet a lot, but
bonnet.
Literally, this is most of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's only like an hour long.
It's a lot of bonnet,
but it felt like a lot longer because there were so many scenes that were added for no reason.
Oh, the three dudes. Oh, I heard it sounded like German. Oh, it sounded like Italian. No, it was definitely Danish. And
I was dying for that to end.
That made me. It had the structure of a traditional joke.
Which is why I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, it was so.
That's what I knew that. Like I was like, oh, this is like some vaudeville shit they threw in here.
Yeah, I was entertained by that, but it had nothing to do with the movie. Yeah. And that scene with the medical student and his roommate.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul.
And
Paul is his husband. It's clear.
It was like this weird,
his
like
roommate
CBS sitcom where he's like, come eat your dinner. Come on. You spent too much time researching. Your dinner's getting cold.
Now that I did like.
Yeah.
I liked it.
He should have been more considerate of Paul's feelings. Paul was still really in love with him.
But it had nothing to do with the movie, and it went on and on.
It was to humanize him.
It was adorable because they were this like he was kind of like his hentucked husband, and it was got these homoerotic vibes from it. But it had nothing to do with the movie, and I feel like there were a lot of scenes
it was in the wrong movie.
Or the scene in the park with all the couples
where she's
talking to each other,
and she's on the swing set.
Well,
and
before
it
that,
almost made me vomit. The number of times the camera follows the swing set back and forth made me so nauseous.
Yeah.
Well, I kept waiting for them to do that thing where when she goes back down, it's like Dr. Acula or whatever.
That he's behind her.
Like, yeah, and then they didn't. It was just her. She was just swinging. Her was just swinging.
It was enough back then. You know, remember people thought the train was really going to hit them when they were in the movie theater. I feel like this was the reason they were like, we're going to attach the camera to the swing.
No, I felt that was a good use of camera work.
Oh, it was great camera work, but they let it go so long that, and I get that it punctuated when he realized that that the doctor had come to her home and he stops and then the swing stops because that's his record scratch moment.
No, I feel like the director did it just to show off.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As opposed to having anything to do with the movie.
Well, no, I mean, I do think it was meant to say this is normal life. Everything's as it is. I push her in the swing every Saturday. Boom. Dr. Miracle came by with his whip today.
Well, and before they went to the park, he had this 5-minute scene of them on donkeys.
Yeah.
And they're like calling up to the girl Camille
and they're singing
on the balcony.
The funny little man song.
Oh,
and they're singing at each other for like 5 minutes.
Man song. It was like it was a bunch of like theater kids.
How is this movie only an hour long? There was all this filler in it.
Well, it's mostly bonnets and donkeys.
Bonnets, donkeys, and a man in a gorilla suit carrying a doll.
Yep, and close-ups of a chimp that are supposed to be the gorilla. And when the gorilla man, the man in the gorilla suit climbs the building to go get what's her nuts? What's the girlfriend's name?
Camille.
He kills her mom and stuffs her mom in the chimney.
Which was from the story. It's like the only thing, the chimp thing.
But I was like, when did he have time to do that?
Yeah.
And then he takes Camille.
That is the only Edgar Allan Poe touch to this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was really not very Poe-y, except for the drawing of Poe in Dupin's apartment with all of his crime stuff. At least I think it was Poe. But he
climbs out the window.
And it is so clearly a mannequin and a man in a gorilla suit.
And they get real close on this mannequin.
I think we saw a restored version.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't just do a dude in a suit.
Right.
It would listen, I get that they were like, let's make it. No, you made it worse. Just have a guy in a suit and shoot him in shadows.
You think someone was like, that was seamless the way that you cut to that chimp's face and then the man in the gorilla suit? It was like one and the same.
Yeah, I bet they did.
They have a man in a gorilla suit in Island of Lost Souls and look great.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. What I will say is the one thing I'll give this is I wonder how much of an inspiration that scene was on King Kong, because that came out a year later. Oh. And you had the ape carrying the woman up the building.
I wonder.
And then unless that's a trope from other things as well.
But prior to King Kong, I don't think I've ever remember seeing that. And I don't know. That's a really good question, though, Kelley. What Kong came out in 1933?
Yeah.
But Kong, I think, took a lot longer to make than this one.
Maybe.
Unless the rumor got out.
Because they took more care with the dummy that they had him carry.
Yeah, well, it was also all that stop motion they did.
Yeah. But I just wondered if that was something. I just wondered if this had started production or if it, I don't know.
Kind of how Volcano and Dante's Peak came out around the same time.
It's exactly like that.
I think about that all the time.
I was actually kind of impressed by the scene where he's dragging the dummy around on the rooftops.
The stunt work.
Yeah, I felt like the scale of it was kind of impressive because you had all those extras on the bottom running around too.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I think that was a composite shot.
Well, yeah,
but still,
it was well done.
Yeah, I just appreciated that they tried to do certain things with their limitations.
But the mannequin was like a bridge too far. Like there were moments, which I get, maybe it may have been a dangerous shot to put together, and they're like, oh, the mannequin flopped the wrong way and we can see its mannequin face. We're going to have to just leave it in there because we don't want our gorilla man to die falling off a building.
They didn't care back then.
Right. So,
what are you talking about?
But I feel like if he had held that, which, this is Monday morning quarterbacking the man in the gorilla suit. I personally
There's actually probably a real gorilla in the gorilla suit because he just didn't look apey enough, but they
maybe we can just layer ape on ape.
But you could buy a gorilla for 10 cents if you were, a Hollywood producer. So they're so cheap.
They're like, well, if you own land or your family owns land, you can buy any exotic animal you want. That's the law now.
So they just pushed it. They were like, just push him off for real.
Yeah. You used to be able to buy monkey chow, Purina monkey chow. We had this conversation the other day because we were talking about having a pet monkey.
Who's we?
Andy, Mike, and me, and you.
Oh.
You were there, right?
It was about that lady that got her face ripped off by the chimpanzee.
Oh, yeah. We started with the chimp face.
You don't want a pet monkey or ape of any kind.
I don't want any of that.
And I want to say that in the beginning, that scene where they went to the carnival, it made me real uncomfortable because they had human acts that they presented as so exotic and animal-like, basically.
But they were just other races.
Yeah.
And they're like, point and laugh. You're like, I don't want to laugh. I know I shouldn't stare. Anyway, fucking French.
I don't want to laugh.
I mean, they literally had Native Americans walking around a fire.
Oh, I forgot all the racist shit at the beginning.
I forgot about that.
I was
that
like,
was real comfortable.
What was
At
it
the beginning in the
of-
carnival?
Yeah.
There were different like scenes and that they went to. They kept walking to different things.
I must have grabbed dinner. I must have been getting dinner on the table during that part. I must have been doing my domestic duties.
Duty.
Yeah, if they had just kind of stuck to the original story, and it would have been a lot more entertaining. What was it like? Oh, we got to have a damsel in distress, or people won't watch it. I don't know. It was just real silly.
I mean, it was harmless, but it
didn't harm you.
It did nothing for me, though. I really would have rather watched anything else.
Almost anything. So, Purina monkey chow, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can get a hold of some, will you guys eat it?
Nope.
No, but I will say thank you for bringing Island of Lost Souls under my eyebrows and into my eyeballs, because I'm now going to buy a copy of it on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
trying to find a nice restored version.
They put it out. Shout Factory, maybe I want to say.
Yeah,
has a nice Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'd like to get it. Watch it with Colin to see what he thinks. He's a cinephile.
I had seen it before, but I wasn't sure because I had seen like 3 versions of Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah,
but I think this might be the best one.
Got to check out the Lancaster one, the Burt Lancaster one.
Did that one come out in the 70s?
Something like 77. I think.
Yeah, I've seen that one too, but they all. I think this was another case of Fox 19 Saturday matinees.
Yep, I know. I think, yeah.
Where they ran the different stuff all the time and it all just blurred together for me. But now it's like definitely like in my memory, especially Charles Lawton. Like I said, that will always stick with me. And
he was married to Elsa Lancaster.
Yeah, Bride of Frankenstein.
Lancaster.
He was also the Phantom of the Opera.
According to the
Who
trivia,
was he in Phantom of the Opera?
The Phantom.
Which version?
One of them.
One of them.
One of them. I don't know which one, but one of them.
Was it one of the Hammer ones? Maybe I don't know. Now I gotta know.
Now he's gotta know, guys.
Claude Rains was the Invisible Man.
We all know that. So we know that it's bad when science abuses animals. 1. Okay. But knowing that also we're working on the vaccine, which includes injecting things into rats right now. It's hard, you know.
He was on Spartacus, remember?
Also, we know that a chimpanzee is not a gorilla. We learned that.
Chimpanzee is not a gorilla. My dad is not a cell phone.
My dad's not a phone.
And so science needs to take a step back and go, what's for the greater good? Okay.
I think a vaccine.
Okay. A vaccine is absolutely for the greater good. So there
I
you
just
go.
I just want giant asparagus.
You know what? I mean, really, we got to think about what are we going to do in the future when we got too much population and not enough places to make food. We're going to need giant asparagus.
Yeah, I don't like cooking all that asparagus at one time. I just want to cook one giant one.
Yeah, and nibble on it.
Think
throughout
about
the
how
day.
much our pee would smell every single day.
We get used to it. We go nose blind to
Charles Lawton was Captain William Kidd, and Abbott and Costello meet Captain Kidd.
No, I bet that was a funnier movie than this one.
Probably. He was in a movie called The Man on the Eiffel Tower.
Was he in the Phantom of the Opera?
I haven't found him in one yet.
Shit.
it. Let's all just be quiet while he goes through the list.
He was in the Canterville Ghost. He was the ghost.
We can see Freddy's brain working in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Can you smell?
He was in a movie called The Tuttles of Tahiti.
I like alliteration.
Yeah.
Me too.
Who doesn't?
You want to thank our patrons?
Yeah, so-
he was in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay.
Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Maybe.
At the end of every show, we always say hi to our Beelzebubs.
Probably.
Again, go to notlp.com go to patreon.com/notlp to support the show.
He was in The Old Dark House, which is fantastic.
With
1932 version.
But like I said, our Beelzebubs, they're just there is a hierarchy in the world of people. and they're at the top, and that's just the truth. We're going to start with Ernest. Ernie.
Buddy.
We've got sweet baby Alise.
Good night, sweet baby Alise. That's my jam.
See you soon, sweetie.
Amanda.
Yo,
girl, yo. Jeremy, Cassie, and Gamora.
Hell to the yes.
Hell to the yes. Mark Watts.
Hey, Mark.
Mark Watts. I'm going to stop doing that. I don't know why I'm doing that.
What are you doing?
I'm just saying names weird after you guys say them normal.
We all do that, though. We all just keep it up, keep it going till the sun goes down. We keep it going. Blake. Tree and Alex. Iona Goodwin.
Iona Great One.
Jeff Lancaster. Branan and Emily. Adam Ingram. Bill Chandler. Blayne Turner. Todd de Pompa. And Dennis Cannaday. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks for taking it on for me.
You're welcome. I saw that you had your phone. I thought maybe you got your rails.
Because I had a message from Monica that I will read next week.
All right. And we said we were going to get your feelies out in the mail to you this past week, but we didn't do it. So Amy and I will get on that ASAP. Those of you who have not received your teaser pins yet, due to the delay that the pandemic caused, we are going to make it to the post office some way, somehow, and get it done.
I promise.
And thank you to all our listeners. Thanks for hanging in and chilling with us every week. We appreciate your attention.
You are the wind beneath my wings. And that's all you need to know.
For true.
You are the blood that fills my boner.
You are the true.
Wow, Kelley.
Anything else you guys want to say? Any other inappropriate crap you want to?
You are the fillers that plump up my fine lines and wrinkles.
You are the Charles Laughtons. To my
that whips your creations.
You whip my creations.
That sounds like a line out of a dance song. You whip my creations.
They're dandy scientists. I love that.
You know what? He in the trivia it said he already knew how to use a whip before they filmed. I just thought that was interesting.
Is that why he was cast?
I'd like to leave you with that.
Love you. Bye.
All right, bye.
If he should go to